Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we've got a 2021 Winnebago View, and we're going to be installing some Timbrens on it to help with the rear suspension. A big question we get here at eTrailer is how can I control the body roll or limit it in my RV? Well, Timbrens is just one of the many suspension enhancements that you can put on your RV, because what will happen is, because an RV is so tall, you're going to have a lot of wind that's causing body roll, bumps in the road, sharp turns. That's all going to cause the vehicle to rock side to side, and that can be a really uneasy feeling. Adding these Timbrens, they're going to replace your jounce bumpers on your motorhome, and they're going to engage much faster than the jounce bumpers would have to. The springs we're installing today are going to be a progressive spring. And what that means is the more and more they compress, the harder they're going to work to eliminate that body roll. So they're going to get stiffer as they compress. Another thing that Timbrens are going to help with is that our customer here likes to tow a boat behind his vehicle. So this is going to help him a lot with that extra weight on the back, because he still experiences a lot of body roll, especially with the trailer loaded on the back. Here's a good reference for the size comparison between the factory jounce bumpers and our new Timbrens, so you can see how much they're going to be able to help. Now let's go ahead and take our motorhome outside, and we'll show you the before and after we installed the Timbrens. So here we're hitting some bumps in the road, and you can probably hear all the stuff moving in the back of the camper. Our blinds are all over the place. This is especially going to be scary when you're driving an RV with some higher winds. What it does is the top of the RV is super tall, so it's going to catch a lot more wind than a normal vehicle would. And with this specific vehicle, it's a Mercedes Sprinter van again, so it's got a lot of body roll because it's a super soft suspension for comfort. But where that hurts you is going to be when you get those winds or you're hitting bumps, and then the whole motorhome itself starts to rock side to side. But we're just in our parking lot here at eTrailer, and we've got little bitty bumps and cracks in the road, and I can feel every single one of them. The suspension in the back almost feels like real watery. If you've experienced this, you probably know what I'm talking about. But it's very, very soft. So hopefully with our new suspension upgrade, the Timbrens are going to help to solidify that back end a little bit. We'll come into a turn. Oh yeah, we can feel the whole motorhome kind of lean to the right as we're making a left turn. Now with all this in mind, you have to remember we're only on flat ground here. We're not even talking about when you're at a campsite and there's, the road might be off kilter a little bit, and that's scary when you are driving on those roads and the whole motorhome feels like it's wanting to tip over, especially if you're a new driver. If you're an experienced driver, you probably know that the motorhome's going to have a little sway side to side because of how tall it is. But hopefully with this new kit, we can lock in the suspension a little bit better so that our neighbor here will have a much more confident drive, and they don't feel like they have to white knuckle the wheel if they get a little wind or hit a bump. Now with our Timbrens installed, we're going to go back over our test course and see how much movement we're able to get rid of. Oh yeah, first speed bump we hit, it is a lot more solid back there. It still has a little bit of movement, but that was to be expected because the Timbrens are made out of a rubber compound. But yeah, this is a lot better. Yeah, you can tell there's so much more control in the rear end when you go over a bump. We'll see when we try to make a turn here, but at least on the bumps, it brings it back to that resting height a lot faster, whereas before it just kind of kept bouncing. The body roll, I would say, is maybe 25% of what it used to be. It's pretty impressive. On our straightaway here, again, we have you can tell the body roll starts to happen with the little cracks and stuff in our parking lot, but it is quickly eliminated by Well, there was a little bit bigger one, but it's quickly eliminated by the Timbrens controlling it. We'll do a turn around here, see if it rolls. Again, a little bit of body roll, but not quite the lean that we felt before. The RV is staying pretty well centered up and down. It's got a little bit more natural bump here. Yeah, you can still feel some body roll, but that's good. That means our factory suspension is still flexing. You just don't feel the uncontrolled swaying from side to side, or the body roll from side to side. Yeah, this system made a very, very large improvement to the suspension. And you can see the difference between the factory jounce bumpers and the new Timbrens we installed is that the factory jounce bumpers are not engaged anywhere close until you really, really load the camper down, whereas our new Timbrens are engaged all the time. They're engaged when you're parked, they're engaged when you're driving. It's only going to be until you get a lot of flex that one side will maybe lift off the axle. Now that we've seen the before and after effects, let's go ahead and pull them in the shop and walk you through the installation. To start our installation, what we need to do is we need to relax the suspension on the rear axle of our motorhome. And the way that we did it is we have hydraulic jacks on our motorhome here. So what we did was we lifted up just the rear end of the motorhome, just enough to give us space to work under there. Our tires are still on the ground, and we put jack stands underneath the frame so that it'll support it in case of a failure with the landing gear itself. So with that being said, let's go ahead and crawl underneath, and we'll show you how to get the old one out and the new one in. To get our factory jounce bumper removed, it's pretty simple. I just used a large flathead screwdriver, and I just pried it up in this gap here. And you may have to use a second hand to be able to keep your place when you're prying it out. It also might help to have a second screwdriver on hand to slide up in there to hold your place, so you can reposition the larger one. Just like that. When installing the Timbrens, I thought about using either some white lithium grease or some type of lubricant to help me get it in place. But I think the way that I did it, it would only make the rubber more slippery and my tool would slide off of it. So the way it's going to install is exactly how the factory one came out. I just started by sliding the forwardmost part of the angle in, and then what we need to do is take our screwdriver and bend this lip here on the end up and into place. And you just want to try to work these tabs up into place. So by pushing on the end of this tab, it helped us to get it past that point. You should be able to, without it coming out. We'll just take our screwdriver and make sure it's seated properly. There we go. And that's it. Now we'll go ahead and repeat that same process on the other side. Well guys, hopefully this information was helpful. If you've got a 2021 Sprinter van style RV, I think these are going to be a great fit for your motorhome. It helped to control the body roll. There's still going to be some, but if you didn't have any body roll, that means your suspension's not going to be moving at all. So we definitely don't want that, and I think this kit is going to be a great solution.